I just had the best week I've had in a very long time, and this led me to having the best month I've ever had in my trading career, all by doing just one simple thing, and that's simply following my trading system. And my trading system just involves me taking one setup, which is taking the bounce off of a key VWAP. But if you want to catch me trading live every single day, Monday through Friday, catch me at 9:15, 15 minutes before market open. But with no further ado, let's jump right into the video so that way you guys can see the exact executions I took that allowed me to finish with a 75% win rate in this past week, leading me to having one of the best months I've ever had. So this current week that just ended between June 23rd and June 27th, I was able to finish with a 75% win rate. And just starting off with the first trade that I actually took on Monday on my Top Step 50K XFA, I waited for price to kind of like the bulls to shake out, because if we look at basically what's going on the 1 hour chart, we can clearly see that we're at the start of the brand new week. So we're still using the start of week VWAP from last week. And if we're looking at that and we're just looking at general structure on the 1 hour chart, we can clearly see that price is making lower highs, lower high, a lower high. And so we expect that once price gets all the way up here, that we're going to make a lower high. But what about pre-market? Aren't the bulls in on pre-market? Yes, but we have to look at what's happening in the bigger picture. If we zoom out of the 2 minute chart and not really so much focus on the bulls, we're going to notice that this is just a pullback to maybe and possibly continue the trend lower. And so that's exactly what I expect. So I know that sellers, they can surely step in here off the previous day's New York VWAP. And after they just rejected the previous day's New York VWAP, I did not feel comfortable taking the long setup here. Otherwise, this is a textbook perfect long setup off of the bounce of the daily start of session VWAP. And I would have loved to take that long. But again, I just didn't feel comfortable taking it just because of how we kind of rejected the previous day's New York before them. So I was patient. I wanted to follow the bigger trend. I wanted to do what I knew what was going to work. And I waited for price to pull back, for sellers to kind of show me that they're back in, to continue the bigger trend and to show me that this bullish pullback is over. So once we got to the start of week VWAP from last week, I saw price just starting to move sideways, signaling that buyers are kind of done pumping the price higher. And then as soon as I saw price start to kind of fall and more, the longer we send that sideways movement, I decided to get a really nice fill price right at the 6,048 level. And then I just went for a 1-to-1 R. I was able to catch about 14 points, if I'm not mistaken, on this move. And I basically set my stop to cover the recent lower high that was here, and to also just kind of like set it around the ATR level. Because if price kind of goes all the way up here, then it may be telling me that, okay, buyers may be still in control and I'm just too early in the shorts. But I timed it perfectly. We went into profit, a little bit drawdown, and then right back down to my TP. Very easy trade. And then I took another trade later on this day. Or sorry, I took another trade overnight, I believe. Yeah, this was overnight. And this was before the trade that we just looked at. But again, just overnight, I'm looking at the 1 hour. I'm like, okay, we're all the way down here. Do I want to be a seller all the way down here, especially when we just open up very bullish? No, I know price is going to want to pull back to either the previous day's New York VWAP or the week to date VWAP. So I'm going to take advantage of that. I then get in off of a textbook long setup. Now, the only critique I actually have for this setup is that I did get in a bit early, but honestly, I'm just being picky with myself. I counted this as like, okay, I liked how buyers were stepping in here, and I liked how buyers were kind of like stepping in at the start of session VWAP. So I decided to get in. Ideally, I would like to see a bit more sideways movement, just like we see right here. But at the end of the day, I'm just being picky, and I had a great trade, a great entry. It did take longer for this trade to play out just because, again, it is overnight and price action is relatively slower. But at the end of the day, textbook trade, perfect trade, just taking these bounce plays off of VWAP. And then if we just like see how the end of day happened, again, we were able to catch some of this down move, but notice what's happening on the 1 hour. We actually had a market structure shift because we broke this lower high. We had a fake me out lower high here, swept these lows, and then buyers stepped in at the start of the month of VWAP to switch up the trend to continue the monthly trend, which was bullish. So you have to really understand what is going on with price action, so that way you don't get trapped and you don't get caught out. But luckily, I was just a one and done day today. And I didn't get kind of like psyched out of taking a rejection off of any of these VWAPs right here. And I just took my one and done, and I was done for the day. But with that market structure shift, now we're going into Tuesday with somewhat of a bullish bias. And so I was flat during the New York session just because price action really was not good. If we just look at how the day ended in the beginning, it was very sideways, and I was just like unsure of what price action really kind of like wanted to do. And so I just didn't like the price action. So I stayed flat during the New York session. But I did take a trade overnight again, and again, we're just playing the same exact plays that have been working. Now we had that market structure shift. We are confirmed to be making higher highs and higher lows, and the bulls are incredibly strongly in play. So, what am I going to do? As I see buyers stepping in, defending the previous day's New York VWAP, and price is relatively staying tight and close to the start of the future session VWAP, I'm then going to try my attempts at longs. Now, I entered a nice trade here, but again, I have to say I am pretty early. As price kind of like pulled back to the daily, I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to miss this, so let me just get in. But then it came right back down. I was just so early; it wasn't ready yet, and I didn't want to take a full loss, so I just cut for a little small paper cut loss. That's like maybe like a 35 or 40% loss right there. Only was down like $94. At the same point, like I could argue that this long was never invalidated until we actually break these lows down here. But since we never broke those lows, it was never truly invalidated. I just wanted to kind of like, I understood I was early and I just wanted to not take a full loss. But after that, after we had this nice sideways price action and we started kind of get some lift, I just got right back in a couple minutes later. And then I made back my loss plus a nice couple of change. So I made like $150 net and, minus the $90 or something. I made like 270 total, 150 net. So it was a really good trade. Again, taking the bounce plays off of key VWAPs by following what price action is doing and by following the trend. And then on the Wednesday was a great day because Wednesday, again, we're continuing higher. This is the day we took the overnight, we took that long. We were able to catch that nice move. And then in the New York session, we're just staying above the previous day's New York, staying above the start of session. So I'm not going to call the top. You never want to call the top because I've been burnt trying to do that so many times. So I'm going to trade in the direction that price has already been trading until I get new information. What will be new information is if we start to sweep these lows and create lower lows and lower highs. That's new information, and that's kind of when I want to put the longs on pause. But we never get that confirmation, right? We get buyers are strongly staying above the New York. So I decided to put a limit order here. And this was on an Apex Combine account to get the last ever combine I had across the line. And then boom, we hit it. And then it was just a really nice quick trade. This trade only lasted for 6 minutes, so maybe 7 minutes total because I did get in kind of like halfway in this little kitten right here. But a trade in 7 minutes, I think that's like what, 10 points or something like that. That's a pretty nice trade. And then so Wednesday was a really easy one of the day. And then how we ended the day was again, we kind of drifted to the lower side, getting a little bit of a deeper pullback, which is understandable. But again, this type of price action is the type of price action that'll just like chop me up and never. So I'm glad I took that first trade in the open and then I was done for the day. And then if we go ahead and look at Thursday, we're going to see that again. I'm taking the same exact trade that I literally took the day previous, which is the bounce off of the daily VWAP. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly the same like one to one. Obviously, here the candle formations are different, and how deep price goes into the VWAP is clearly different. But it's still the same trade, the same setup, taking the bounce off of the daily VWAP. And that, as long as I can repeat that, I'm golden because I know my win rate for that is high. And clearly it is because I was able to end this week with a 75% win rate. And again, we're looking at the same thing. Yesterday, we had that little nice bearish price action, that drifting lower, not telling me that the bears are really strong. Like if we look at the 1 hour, the bears were very weak. Like these 1 hour candles are fairly weak compared to how strong the bullish candles are. So with that information in mind, I expect price to continue higher. As soon as overnight we break back above the previous New York, break back above the start of session VWAP, we just kind of stay above it, get a nice pullback. We see buyers respect it here. We see just buyers defending this area constantly. So therefore, I'm going to bet in the New York Open. I want to use that volatility so that way I can actually get my piece of the pie. And so I actually do. Once price pulls back, we start to kind of stagnate a little bit. We start to kind of go sideways. As soon as I start to see buyers stepping in here and pushing price higher, I'm then going to kind of get in. And then it was just like one of the quickest trades I've taken all week. This trade only lasted for like about like maybe like not even 5 minutes, like 4 minutes. And then I was all out of this trade. It was a very nice trade that we caught on stream. And by the way, if you do want to watch me trade live and take these trades and to see how I execute live, watch my live streams every single day, Monday through Friday, starting at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time, just 15 minutes before market open. But again, that was Thursday. And then if you see how Thursday ended, I mean, this day was just an insane day. Here's where we got in, and then here's where we got out. And then just look at how much higher we went. This is definitely a day, and what I'm learning is weeks like this are the types of weeks to where you want and you cannot be afraid to hold your winners longer. But if we look at weeks like previous weeks earlier on in the month to where it was a bit more choppy and the bulls weren't as strong, then you just want to kind of get out and get your piece of the pie. But when we have such a strong trend like this of looking at the 1 hour to where we're just literally going straight up, you need to leave a runner. And this is a really good signal for us leading into next week, because next week and also in the rest of the summertime, we may have some really strong trends. So I'm very excited to trade those because we haven't had some nice trending markets like this in some time now. But again, this thing just shot up and went higher, and I definitely could have left a runner to really milk this thing out. Now, going into Friday, Friday was an amazing day, a nice one and done day, and it was a very easy trading day. And to no one's surprise, we took the same exact type of trade as we did Wednesday and Thursday, taking the bounce play and also the overnight trades too, taking the bounce plays off of the start of session VWAP. And it's the easiest trade that you can take, especially when you have this bullish confirmation of us just moving up and sellers just looking so weak. I mean, we just see this on the 1 hour. And a good way to notice this is just look at these 3 bars of bullish momentum, and then just look at the red bars. They're small, tiny. It's not really going anywhere. You can just see this nice pullback, and then just green, 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 or black, 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 which are bullish bars for me. And it's just going up. We're just continuously moving higher, and we're just staying above the start of week VWAP. Now, you could argue that, oh, well, wouldn't we want to pull back down to the start of week VWAP? Yeah, but if price is not doing it, then just ride the strength. We don't want to call the top. You never want to call the top or bottom. Okay. And that's what I have done in the past, and it screwed me. So just trade in a direction to where you think to where price has already been doing. So just follow what price has already been doing, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to predict, oh no, price is gonna want to pull back to the today now. Because if you tried to calling this top right here, I mean, boy, oh boy, were you wrong. So I took this trade on 2 accounts. My Top Step X XFA 50K account, and then my account that I just got with the futures desk, which is really cool new firm that actually, if you pass their evaluation, you get right into a live account. It's none of that sim funded stuff. It's like you go from valuation right into live, and I love it. Honestly, in my opinion, that might be the best firm that is out there right now if you want to take trading seriously and you want to be a sim farmer, in my opinion, right? But again, we're taking the bounce play off of the knee, off of the starter session VWAP. Like I said, guys, you need to backtest and mark up your trades to learn how to take these plays off of the VWAP. Because a lot of people may look at this and be like, well, damn, uh, didn't it disrespect the VWAP? VWAP's not holding price. Guys, you need to play VWAP as a zone. It's never going to perfectly hold price. Some days it will, like on Wednesday, where it held it like almost perfectly. And then some days it won't, like Thursday and today, Friday, to where we'll dip down below it. But in the general area, you'll see buyers stepping in. And what is my signal that buyers are stepping in? Is it that we are kind of slowing down on the 15-minute? Is it that, like, what is it, right? Do I look at the 1 hour? No. I solely look at the 2-minute chart, okay? Because I use the 15-minute to understand the most relevant trend. I use the 1 hour to understand what is the bigger picture. Where are we at in the larger scale of things? Like I reviewed on Monday, to where we were making lower lows and lower highs, but I was able to catch the overnight long and then the New York session short because I understood when buyers and sellers were going to step in that bigger picture trend. right? We were pulling back, so I rode that pullback to catch a long. And then once we rejected week to day VWAP, I knew we were going to move back down lower, so I rode that momentum down lower. That's why it's really important to kind of use your multiple time frames, do a top-down analysis, so you understand what are good spots to get in long and what are good spots to get in short. And that's exactly what I do here. Clearly, we're making higher highs, higher lows on the 1 hour. We're making higher highs on the higher lows on the 15-minute chart. So all the time frames are in alignment right now. So I don't need to try to time my trades or anything like that. It's literally, I just got to ride this momentum. And so where do I want to be in long? Well, I want to be in long what's been working, and that's at the start of a future session VWAP right here. So once I see price start moving sideways, just like this on the 2-minute, see how we're moving sideways? That's my confirmation that I can safely get in long. I did have an early aggressive trade, early aggressive entry on my the futures desk trading account, which is right here. And again, because I liked the sideways action, I saw that buyers are stepping in here, and I just decided to get in a fill order. My stop was covering these lows right here on the 15-minute, so I knew that as long as we didn't like sweep these lows, we're totally fine. And I can, I can expect the price to be held nicely here. We did take a little bit of drawdown, but it is a-okay. I knew I felt convicted in this trade. I felt convicted in this trend. And if this is the top and I get caught, trying to ride the trend, I know if I'm able to repeat this setup 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna win. And guess what? This trade was a winner. So we took a little bit of an aggressive entry here. I would have liked to kind of get in somewhere around here, definitely. And that's actually what I did on my top set 50K account. And then I just caught these trades and I got out here off my top side 50K account going for that 1-to-1 R because I got a deeper price. And then I got out here full of my TFD, my the futures desk account up here. But with my top step account, what I'm going to try to do, because there's no consistency rule, I need to really focus on making my winners bigger. And one thing I could have done here is quite literally just held the trade for longer, because after kind of getting through this little 6 minutes of like slowing down, price just kind of like shot up. And I needed to kind of catch that. But again, I went for that 1-to-1 R. I caught my piece of the move. I'm not going to catch the entire move every single time. As I mark these trades up, as I identify what are strong trends and what are kind of like weaker trends, weeks or months or days, then I can adjust how much I'm going to be taking out of the market. But either way, all of these trades this entire week, I've pretty much been taking bounces off of key VWAPs. And that is my golden nugget right there, taking these bounce plays off of key VWAPs. And if we look at how Friday ended, Friday ended with a bang. We shot up, rejected the 6,239 levels, came back down to get the final and much needed pullback that we need. If we look at the 1-hour chart and look at where we pulled back to, we pulled back down to the previous day's New York VWAP, not to the start of week VWAP, to the previous day's New York VWAP. And you know what this is telling me? This is telling me that, oh, not that we may be reversing and that we want to kind of like start making lower lows and their highs, which is a possibility, but it's telling me that buyers are so freaking strong that sellers were only able to take price down to the previous day's New York VWAP and not to the start of week VWAP. That tells me that, dang, this trend is super strong. And that even though we technically could qualify this as a market structure shift, I still think this was a much needed pullback. And it may be a signal that it is a reversal, because we did break, if we look at the 1 hour, we did break this previous higher low here, which is a signal of a potential market structure shift, and we may reverse. But this bullish momentum is so strong that I think this was just buyers taking a breather. And then if we look at the following 1 hour candle, it just basically engulfed pretty much this 1 hour candle right here and just took price back up higher. And so from here, I think now we can definitely continue to make higher highs, higher lows. But next week is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very exciting trading next week, as we're either going to kind of just come back down and make a pullback and have some little short-term bearish price action, or we're going to continue this, really strong push higher. But either way, I'm here for it. And if you would like to see me trade live, again, like I said, I'm live every single day, Monday through Friday, 9:15 a.m., 15 minutes before market opens. Make sure you guys watch me, because all I'm doing is taking these simple, easy trades off of the VWAP. My trading has evolved so much, and I've been able to cut out a lot of unnecessary fat and simplify my system. And through consistent backtesting, marking up trades, and trading my strategy live, I've been able to find the confidence, conviction to rely and trust in my setup. And that's wholeheartedly why I believe this week I was able to finish with a 75% win rate. And if we just zoom out real quick just so I can like flex. Let me flex for you guys real quick. And this is on all accounts, right? And let's do this previous month. I'm able, look, I mean, look at all these green days. We've only had 3 days to where we caught negative points. Okay. And then we finished this month with a 65% win rate. And we were able to, our winning days are 66%, which is kind of confusing because we only have 3 red days. But I guess it's taken like the dollar amount. Some accounts are bigger than the others. So yeah, that's a little, I don't understand that. But again, my winners are, I'm getting more points on my winners than I'm on my losers. So what this is telling me is that as long as I am consistent with my trade size, I don't change my trade size. I keep my trading size the same, meaning I let's say I risk $150 on my accounts. I need to do that consistently. Can't risk 110, can't risk 180. I need to risk 150 bucks per trade. And then overall, I'll win because I'm able to win more than I lose. And also through like, the average win or loss of like how many points I'm able to get, but also through my win percentage and how I'm able to end the day and my profit factor. So, I mean, this has definitely been my best month ever on my funded accounts. And I'm looking to continue this very bullish, very bullish trading into July. I'm implementing really good habits. I've been very disciplined this month. And I'm looking to continue this into the next month. But yeah. But if you guys enjoyed this video and found this to be helpful, please don't forget to subscribe as it is free and it helps me out a ton. Also, make sure to catch me on my live streams every day, Monday through Friday at 9:15, just 15 minutes before market open. And well, I'll catch you guys all there. I recommend checking out this video next, as I think you'll find some value to it and it's pretty cool. And it's me talking. So